James, I know you have strong feelings about this. I mean, how do you feel about Silicon Valley companies getting involved in cyber offense?
I'm very worried about it. I think it's the way things have been moving. I did a cover story for Wired in July on this. The problem is the United States is moving further ahead than any other country in the world in terms of cyber warfare. We're the only country on Earth who has ever actually launched a cyber warfare attack, what's known as a kinetic attack, which means you're using cyber not just to eavesdrop on somebody or read what they're typing on their computer or to erase their hard drive, but to actually destroy physical objects. They did that with Stuxnet, the cyber malware that was sent into the Iranian nuclear development facility, their centrifuges and so forth, and they were actually able to destroy the centrifuges. So the U.S. is getting into these areas. The U.S. has been getting into wars that they shouldn't be getting into for a very long time, and this is a very dangerous area. Once they got into did this Stuxnet operation, the Iranians, who had never really bothered the U.S. that much before in terms of cyber, all of a sudden destroyed 30,000 computers of Saudi Aramco and left a burning American flag in its place. And they attacked the banks in New York for a denial of service attack and so forth. So we're launching these wars where we don't know the end results. And again, the U.S. is the most heavily dependent country in the world on cyber and on the internet and so forth. And
so, I mean, we don't need just to be talking about the third person. Do you think like investments like Kleiner Perk is making, do you think they're endangering
the problem is that companies like Endgame,
yeah,
that the companies that they're investing in, Endgame, for example, is a very secret company. I mean, you're not going to get anybody from the investment side or Endgame to talk about that. I met somebody from Endgame when I was writing my article, and the president of the company, and after meeting, I said, well, now tell me a little bit about your company. And he says, I can't tell you anything about my company. And what the company does is it specializes in zero-day exploits and other kind of
Zero-day exploits are exploits that haven't been discovered before.
In other words, it will go after Windows or something and find some vulnerability that has never been discovered before. That's why they call it zero-day exploit. It's an exploit where there's been 0 days that anybody in the company has discovered it. So they'll develop these weaknesses. They'll find these weaknesses and then they'll sell them. And right now it's totally unregulated. So a company like Endgame can sell this exploit to whoever wants to.
So then Ted, what's your defense? I mean, why is it okay?
They don't. I mean, I know what.
Well, they don't.
You're just saying that.
But it's by choice that they don't. It's certainly not by regulation that they don't. And how is anybody going to debate this? You brought up the idea that we should discuss this. How is anybody going to discuss it if you won't talk about what they do? I mean, it's this catch-22.
The company is going to get ready to launch themselves. They're not quite ready to launch, and the launch will be a big public launch when they do. It's a software company.
So they are going to. So you think Endgame is going to come out in public? They are going to discuss things.
I mean, I don't want to get side. I like ventures to make sure they launch themselves in the way that there's tons of stealth companies out there. This is one that's been in stealth mode that will become public shortly, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So and
we have here Endgame is going to go public.
And maybe they'll sell software, maybe they won't sell software.